Your kid is screaming. They're inconsolable. You're trying everything logic, reasoning, consequences, but nothing works. And here is the worst part, you're actually making it worse. Not because you're a bad parent, but because you're using the wrong part of their brain. Two neuroscientists just discovered something that changes everything about how you should respond in these moments. And once you understand it, those meltdowns, they disappear. But more importantly, those moments become opportunities to literally rewire your child's brain for success. Most parents get this wrong. When their kid loses it, screaming, crying, hitting, their instinct is to go straight to the logic. Calm down, you're being ridiculous. There are other cookies. But neuroscientist Daniel Siegel discovered something counterintuitive. When your child is an emotional flat, their logical brain is literally offline. Think about it like this. Their brain has an upstairs and a downstairs. The downstairs is ancient. It's survival mode. It's pure emotion and reaction. The upstairs, that's where logic lives. That's where they can think clearly, consider consequences, show empathy. But here is the problem. The upstairs doesn't fully develop until they are in their mid 20s. And when they get upset, a little alarm in their brain called amygdala hijacks the entire system. It's like a baby gate slamming shut between the upstairs and downstairs. Your kid literally cannot access their logical brain, no matter how much you reason with them. So, what are the most parents doing? Using words, using logic, trying to negotiate with someone whose logical brain is completely shut down. It's like trying to have a conversation with someone who can't hear you. But here is where it gets interesting. Siegel and his colleague Tina Payne Bryson weren't just studying brains in the lab. They were watching real parents struggle with real kids. And they noticed something. The parents who handled meltdowns best weren't doing what everyone expects. They weren't punishing. They weren't reasoning. They weren't even trying to fix the behavior immediately. They were doing something completely different. They were connecting first. A mom would pick up her screaming toddler, hold him close, and say nothing. Just presence, just comfort, just right brain to right brain connection. And something remarkable happened. Kid would start to calm down. Not because the problem was solved, but because they felt understood. Siegel realized this was a secret. You can't teach someone who is in survival mode. You can only connect with them. This is what they call connect and redirect. And it's so simple, it sounds too easy, but it works every single time. Step 1, connect with the right brain. When your child is upset, forget words for a moment. Use your body, your face, your tone, a hug, a gentle voice, eye contact. You're saying wordlessly, I see you, I understand you, you're safe. One father did this with his daughter who was terrified of school after getting sick there once. Instead of explaining why there is nothing to fear, he just held her. He asked her to remember what happened. And then he told the story back to her. You and Sophia were in an accident, weren't you? The sirens came, Sophia went to the hospital, and now you're worried that means you're not safe at school. He made her implicit fear explicit. He gave her logical framework for her emotional experience. And here is the kicker. After just 1 week of retelling the story, her fear was gone. Once she felt understood, he introduced step 2, redirect with the left brain. Now that you know why you're scared, think about what actually is true. Sophie is okay. This is a new teacher. You're older now, and you already know how to swim. He wasn't forcing logic onto raw emotion. He was gently bringing her thinking brain back online now that she felt safe. First you connect, then you redirect. The brain science. But why does this actually work? Because your brain has two sides, left brain, right brain. When kids are upset, they are stuck in the right brain. All emotion, no logic. Most parents try to pull them into the left brain with words, but that doesn't work because the bridge between the two sides isn't functioning. Here is what happens when you skip the connection part. One parent tried to use pure logic with her son who refused to eat vegetables. He was crying about slimy textures, completely overwhelmed. She said, but they're healthy. Your body needs them. Logic, facts, reasoning. He cried harder because his right brain wasn't listening. It was in panic mode about the textures. Her logic hit a brick wall. So she changed her approach. First, she connected to his right brain. Textures are really hard for you, aren't they? I can see how that feels scary. He calmed down. He felt understood. Then, once he was regulated, she gently introduced the left brain. What if we tried carrots instead? They're crunchy, not slimy. Suddenly, he could think, problem solved, consider alternatives. Same situation, two completely different results. Because she understood. You can't logic someone out of an emotion they didn't logic themselves into. What works is connecting in the right brain first. Then, once they are calm, you gently introduce the left brain logic. But there is another layer that blew my mind. Your child has upstairs brain and a downstairs brain. Literally, the downstairs brain is in the limbic system, ancient, emotional, reactive. The upstairs brain is the prefrontal cortex, evolved, thoughtful, capable of empathy and planning. Here is the problem. The upstairs brain is under construction until age 25. Yes, 25. So, when your 7-year-old seems completely irrational, they literally don't have the brain hardware for the rational thinking yet. But here is what matters. When they are upset, the amygdala, this is the tiny alarm system, slumps a gate shut. It's like a baby gate between the upstairs and the downstairs. Your child literally cannot access their thinking brain. Most parents see this and gets frustrated. They escalate, they punish, they demand compliance. But the kid's brain is physically incapable of compliance. That's not disobedience, that's a neurology. So, what do you do instead? You help them calm the amygdala. You help them unlatch the gate. And here is the genius part. The best way to do isn't with logic, it's with the moment. One 10-year-old named Liam was drowning in homework stress. He curled up under a beanbag chair and refused to move. His mom kept offering help. He kept refusing. Then something unexpected happened. He suddenly ran out of the house. He sprinted several blocks through the neighborhood. When he came back, he was calm, centered, ready to work. What happened? His body changed his brain. Movement directly affects brain chemistry. When you move your body, you signal safety to your amygdala. You regulate your nervous system. One league coach figured this out. His players were discouraged after giving up runs early in the championship game. So he had them jump up and down in the dugout. They got excited, they got energized, and they came back and won the game. It sounds ridiculous, but it's neuroscience. Movement changes your emotional state. So, the next time your kid is spiraling, don't lecture them, get them moving. A bike ride, a walk, even dancing in the living room. Within 5 minutes, they will be regulated again. But there's one more piece that literally changes everything. And this is where things get profound. Your child has implicit memories. These are experiences stored in their body and emotions that they are not consciously aware of. A kid gets sick at school once. For months afterward, they refuse to go back. They can't explain why. They just have butterflies. The implicit memory of that one bad experience is running their behavior. But here is the breakthrough. You can make those implicit memories explicit by telling the story, by putting words and logic to the emotional experience. One mom did this with her son who was terrified of swimming lessons. He couldn't explain why. He just refused. So she asked him gently, do you remember the time something scary happened with swimming? Suddenly he remembered. Years earlier, a strict instructor had forced him off the diving board. His brain had linked diving boards to danger, but it was all unconscious. So she told him, your brain is trying to protect you. It thinks swimming is dangerous because of what happened before. But you're older now. This is a new teacher, a new pool. You're different. She helped him create a new story. Kill the butterflies, he decided. And within a week, he was excited about lessons, not because of the fear vanished, but because it made sense now. and it was integrated into his conscious understanding. Shift. Here is what's revolutionary about this approach. Most parenting advice treats difficult moments as a problem to survive. Get through the tantrum, get compliance, move on. But these scientists saw something different. They saw that every meltdown is an opportunity to literally rewire your child's brain. Every conflict is a chance to treat emotional regulation. Every moment your kid loses control is actually a chance to help them gain control. Because when you understand how their brain works, you respond differently. You don't get frustrated, you get curious. You don't punish, you connect. You don't dismiss feelings, you validate them. And something shifts. Your relationship deepens. Your kid feels truly seen, and their brain actually develops better. This isn't just theory. Brain imaging shows that kids who experience this kind of connected parenting develop stronger neural connections, thicker prefrontal cortexes, better emotional regulation, deeper empathy. They literally have different brains. The most powerful part, this works at any age. The strategies work with toddlers, they work with school kids, they even work with teenagers. Because you're not fighting their biology, you're working with it. You're honoring how their brain actually develops. And when you do that, everything changes. The tantrums decrease, the power struggles dissolve, the connection deepens. Your kid doesn't become perfect, they become resilient.